All right, you guys. I am what am I live? Yeah, I'm live. Got to talk about a one movie and one movie only this week, but I do want to talk about it a little bit, and it is A Quiet Place Day One. Now, I want to tell you, in A Quiet Place, the first one, it won the Critics' Choice Association's 2019 Best Sci-Fi Horror Movie, and I'm a member of CCA, and I'm totally in agreement with that. It was also nominated for an Oscar for the sound, and I will tell you, the way the use of sound in the first one and the second one were really, really good. I mean, I'm sitting there scared to make a noise because I don't want the people on the screen to get killed. That tells you how well they did the sound. So in this one, which is the prequel because it comes before, so it is the third one in the series, but it really is the first one in the series because it comes before the first one, which is really the third one. Anyway, I'm being silly, but uh, it is the third one, but it's the first one. Now, I don't want to really tell you too much about the plot here because this is one of those movies where you really need to experience it. But to suffice it to say is that Lupita Nyong'o's character, her plight is central in this film. She finds herself in New York City, which is one of the loudest cities in the world, and the creatures are arriving, making New York a feeding ground. Now, I'm not sure that New Yorkers, people who are in New York, that they know how to be quiet. And the inhabitants must learn real fast. I mean, real fast, that silence is golden. So, in all, when you look at the film, Lupita must figure out how to survive amidst all the carnage. And here are the things that I liked about this particular film. The first is that sudden terror in the streets. It grabs you. I mean, it literally grabs you. The creatures are coming from everywhere, and even the slightest noise can mean death. And that happens in the first film, but because this is the first time that it's happening, it really does grab you and grabs your attention. And so the tension and anticipation will keep you involved with this film throughout. So once you are invested in Lupita Nyong'o's character, you're going to be invested all the way through. But you will be rooting for everyone, I, but especially Lupita to survive. The second thing that I like about this one is that this is a real time look at how people adapted to survive, how they masked their sounds with the sounds of nature. And I thought it was really smart how they used sound in this one. It was different, but I thought it was really smart. Excuse me. And it was well thought out and it was believable. I'm just looking to see if there were any comments coming in. And then the third thing that I liked is that the creatures are imposing. They are scary and they are ugly. I mean, UGLY. They do not have an alibi. Um, and you want that in a sci-fi horror film. You want the creatures to look like something that will just scare the bejesus out of you. Just, I mean, you like, oh, or make your skin crawl. And these creatures absolutely do that. And I spoke about the sound. So the fourth thing for me is that the sound, while it was used differently, it made sense because it's day one. And so you did hear people talking, you heard people stepping on stuff and running and all these other types of things. So they used sound well, but it was different. And then finally, you hope for Lupita Nyong'o's character and Joseph Quinn's character. You hope that they have good chemistry together, and they do. When they find themselves trying to figure out how do they survive and if they can help each other survive, and you're in it all the way. So you probably can sense that there's some things that I didn't like about this film. is I love the first one and I love the second one. I thought John Krasinski just did a phenomenal job. This one I didn't love as much. That doesn't mean that I didn't like it, but I didn't love as much. There were a couple of things that I didn't like about the film. The first is that you would hope to learn more about the creatures, and not just the fact that they came, they destroyed, and then some people survived. You want to know a little bit more about that. The first film did really well of keeping everything kind of mysterious, but if you go into the prequel, you want to know why these creatures came, what they're here for, other than taking over the earth. But why did they come to Earth? And I personally wasn't satisfied with what they gave me there. I spoke about the sound, and the sound mix was different. And again, while it made sense because it's day one, it just wasn't as special for the use of sound from the first one. The not knowing in the first one really kept you very, very involved. But in this prequel, it made you wonder why certain things weren't revealed. You had more questions than answers, at least I did as I'm watching this film. And then the third thing for me is that there are several moments where the people or some animals survive that just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. There's things in it that you're like, well, if this happened because this person died, then why didn't this happen and for the other person? So some things didn't make sense. And Lupita has a cat. And let me just say, suffice it to say, that cat enveloped everything that we believe about a cat having 9 lives, because that cat had a lot of lives in this one. So overall, I think that this film brought the scary and really connected me to the characters, but it still didn't measure up to the original or the sequel. The prequel, it did just some stuff that I wanted. However, I would absolutely go and see this because I was involved, I was scared, all of that type of stuff, but it just wasn't as impactful as the first one. I think the genius of the franchise is that we get lost in the rawness of the characters' experiences here. So I'm giving this one, I'm waffling because usually I'll say I'm giving this 3, I'm giving this 4. I'm giving this one, I'm in between 2.5, which is a matinee movie, to a three reels, which is a you should go out and check this one out movie. I'm in between those two, but I do think that this is a film that you should check out at the theater. Hey, I'm Reggie Ponder, the Real Critic. That's my take on A Quiet Place Day One. Thanks, guys. I'll see you guys later. I hope, if I'd love to hear your comments. Obviously, you where you can follow me and all that type of stuff. But I'd love to hear your comments after seeing the film. Talk to you soon.